Locally sourced artisanal data by Tom Seast. Local data. Yesterday, this cartoon returned to my Facebook feed, and I was reminded how I tend to poke fun at people like me that like locally sourced products. But just 1 year later, it hardly seems like such a laughing matter. Buy local. I was raised in the small town of Hopedale, Illinois, in the middle of Abe Lincoln's prairie, although I'm quite confident I never grew up there. I don't ever remember buying or doing anything non-local until later in life when I moved away. Most of our purchases were made from the local big box retailers like Shannon's Red Fox, Iltz Electric, and the other shops that came and went. We went to the local doctors like Dr. Maurer and Drs. Rossi, and many people worked at the local hospital and nursing home. Early computing. The first computer that we had in our house was an Atari 800, and we had to make backups on a cassette drive. Later on, we went high tech and had dual 5 1/4 inch floppy disk drives. At our high school, we had a Radio Shack TRS Model 1 and Model 3 with cassette drives. And some of my more studious classmates had the sophisticated Commodore 64. These were great devices for their day, and we learned our RAM from our ROM, typing, and early gaming on these devices. Backup. I learned the importance of backup early on, as these storage devices like cassettes, floppy diskettes, and even the early hard drives were subject to failure on a regular basis. Many times, the cassettes and floppy disk wouldn't even store data properly the first time, so we kept multiple copies of anything important. And, lest you think we weren't sophisticated, we were way ahead of the reel-to-reel machines and floppy platter backup machines that I was using while working at a bank and in school. Backups for everything. This early paranoia about losing anything led me to a life of acquiring backups for everything. Why have one screwdriver when you can have two? Why buy one car when you can have two? Why have one bicycle when you probably need three? Why have one kid when you can have two? I'm only kidding. Everyone knows you need four. Backups, backups, and more backups. The cloud. The new advent of cloud computing brought about simplification for everything. You could have your pictures, documents, and other important files in the cloud and get to them anytime from any device you wanted. So people started storing photos and documents on sites like Dropbox, OneDrive, Google Drive, and social sites like Facebook and Twitter. The cloud was great for many people, but many of us were still paranoid about losing important things. Canceled. Then, in recent years, many of these cloud services have begun to cancel services for any of the following reasons. They don't like you or your data. They went out of business. They can't keep their computer networks running. You failed to pay your subscription service. They slapped you because you're a small customer. Their IT staff was the Three Stooges and they lost everything. They can. Locally sourced artisanal data. To this day, I'm still paranoid about my data. On my desk, I have over 40 terabytes of backup drives, and I regularly back up my important stuff on various drives. I keep most of it local. I also send a backup drive to my buddy Tom in Portland at least once a year with everything important to me. and I back up my photos and documents to 4 different cloud sources. I also continue to buy many things locally and use local vendors when possible. I prefer my stuff to come locally from Sherpas who have carried it on their backs in the hot sun down from the pure organic pastures at the top of the Himalayas. But I'm crazy like that. They are all out to get me. I'm only paranoid because they are all out to get me. And I've never understood why I can't just restore my data from all the backups the government agencies keep of my data. I'm only kidding, of course. I've just lost too many important things in my life to risk losing more. I always wondered what happened to the set of twins, but I digress. So I keep backups and probably always will. The extra drives, cables, bicycles, cars, vitamins, and pints of ice cream will probably drive my wife crazy until the day I die. But I will have a backup. Fortunately for her, it's my only flaw. And likely, the backup will be some form of locally sourced, grass-raised, free-range, pastured form of backup data. And now you know. Me. If you need someone that can help you add backups to your life, let me know, because I know people. If I can help you in any way, please let me know. If you like my writing or my reading, feel free to follow me at the links below.